And hi, I'm live again. And welcome. This is good evening once again. Or good afternoon, good morning, depending where you're watching me from. My name is Jen, and welcome to my page. Yes, I'm actually coming to you live from Singapore. For those who are watching me for the first time, I'm a mother to two teenage boys, and I'm also a digital business owner, running alongside with my full-time job. Yes, and for those who have um, watched me yesterday, you know that yesterday was my day one. Today is my day two of going live 7 days. New series that I have kickstart, and this new series is my life story, my dreams, my digital business journey. Okay, yesterday I actually shared with you about briefly about my life story. So today, I'm going to share another aspect of my story. Yeah, so yesterday we actually talked about really about the struggles of my life, especially a working mom, And I also shared about, for the last like 15 years in my life, I have always been searching for another alternative source of income. So that brings me then to today's topic, which is what is actually the trigger point in my life that really makes me take that first step, that leap of faith, to take that one action that transformed my life. So you may be wondering, hey, what's that one action? I'll share with you towards the end of today's session. So before I go about that, um, some of you may be wondering, hey, 15 years is actually quite a long time. What have you tried? And then, why is it that you tried so many things and it just maybe, what happened to all of those opportunities? So, I have tried various platforms. Some of us may be quite familiar with MLM, you know, and it is just something that I have tried with different companies. But what it really didn't work for me was, you know, I was a single mom. I was really having to take care of my two kids. I was already struggling for time. So, having to make time to build the business, meaning, I got to knock on doors by looking and calling my friends, family members, relatives, whatsoever to garner for sales. It's just not something I like to do, but still have to do it, isn't it? Right? To explore alternative sources of income. So, firstly, it's something that is taking additional time away from me. It doesn't really meet the objective that I want, which is to be able to spend more time, right, with my children. And I really don't like the fact that also I have to have sales target, monthly quota, and keeping inventories, having to attend like face-to-face trainings regularly, etc. Keeping like just have to buy stocks in to keep it. So it just didn't appeal. The business model just didn't appeal to me. But still, I tried. But somehow, I just find it's really not sustainable. Yeah, and so other than MLM, I have tried other platforms like e-commerce, e-selling. Trying to bring in products and sell online, be it through different platforms like Carousel or other type of platforms. Then what else did I try? I even tried like to do some sort of like micro business, but it just didn't quite like suit me, or doesn't really I doesn't really like it because it is not sustainable again. You have to invest in the products, keep the products, and normally to have a reasonable good profit, you need to buy in bulk. So it's like you have to still invest upfront to buy products, keep inventory, um, and you have to do with all the shipping, all the packaging, etc. So again, it's taking a lot of time away from me, and a lot of all these, I would say, little things that I have to do, but yet the profit isn't something that is quite sustainable or quite significant. And as I shared yesterday, I'm someone who comes from sales and marketing background, as my full-time job. So you imagine, having to meet sales target every month, working at MNC is already very stressful enough. And if you still have to meet that target for your side hustle, that is like added stress for me. So that's why ended up it didn't really work well, and I gave up. I gave up to a certain point that I don't even know what to explore anymore. In fact, I even contemplated to explore franchise business. But after doing the sums or the calculations, it simply does not make sense because the type of investment, financial investment, and many other investment you need to put in is so huge, and it just doesn't make sense for me, and it's too high risk for me at that point of time. So in the end, I gave up searching. So I gave up searching, and I sort of like, accepted this accepted this fate that, well, it's meant to be. I cannot make it. And just have this belief that, maybe I'm not just able to, um, you know, uh, make it right, or I'm just never ever going to be able to do a right side hustle. So, but I'm actually a firm believer of having a passive income, of having more than one source of income, because that is so, so important. Well, I know how important it is, but it didn't really struck me uh, how important and how urgent it is. So, like I said earlier, I gave up about, I would say, maybe at least 5 years of actively searching for a second source of income and something else to do. At the time, I was really, trying to focus, spend more time with the children. And along the way, I actually also gave up my traditional business, as you have shared. I've shared yesterday. I actually ran a traditional business in the student care um, center. So it just made me realize that having a traditional business, it is not so glory as what many people think it is. Firstly, there's really a lot of time that we need to invest, as in like you need to have physical presence in the business, as in all traditional business, be it education, be it F&B, be it retail, any sort of business in traditional business model, we need to be physically around. So, uh, some businesses you may be able to make a little bit more money, but you don't have that time freedom, right? So this is not something that I was looking for. And on top of that, it really took me quite a while, several years to just break even, um, and in fact, after so many years in this business, and having to keep on reinvesting in the same business model, um, actually I did not earn profit out of so many years in a traditional business model. So I just felt that traditional business model is definitely not the way to go, because it is really, I would say, sucking the life out of me, so much time, and then little financial returns, or if not, none of them. And there are plenty of headache that comes with it, because as a business owner, we worry about our overheads, right? Our utilities, our manpower, and we worry about a lot of like regulatory issues, you know, and so um, how do we get in business? How do we get enrollment? You know, so there's so many things that we all have to worry about as a traditional business owner. And as we are also evolving in technology, you know, having to build a website, having to build some sort of an interactive type of web page with um, the end users, you know, it's something that I have also went through. Um, so it made me realize that having to build this technology piece of it, right? Even to maintaining a business website, it costs so much money, so much effort. So it just really, like I said, made me realize that it is not viable to do a traditional business anymore. So um, I gave up the traditional business, um, that partnership, and I just carry on working, still in a student care environment. So over the like last few years, I just manage my life, you know, just live it as a routine, day by day thing, you know, things come and go, you know, living from paycheck to paycheck, always wishing for the best, hoping something will come along, you know, but nothing just came along. And so yeah, just get in the red race every day like that. So you may be wondering, so what is your trigger point? Um, the trigger came maybe about 1.5 years ago when I'm still working in this student care. And one fine day, I remember it was like just few days before the Chinese New Year. My boss broke the news to me and said that, um, you know what, we are actually not going to continue our business because we have lost our contract. So it really, back then, you know, hit me really hard because we have really put in a lot of effort over the past, I would say, more than 6 years in the school. And just by that change of decision, we lost the contract. And I was having a pretty big team at the time. And I was really quite worried because what's going to happen to the rest of the people of my staff? And then it also hit me really, really hard because at that point of time, it's like, hey, you know, I didn't have a plan B. I still haven't got my that backup plan in place. And it really struck me so hard because I just realized that you mean there's really no more job security anymore? And it really means a lot at that point of time because I never thought that in the education industry such thing will happen and such thing will happen to me. I mean, I've heard many things, many stories. It happened to other people, to my friends, about them losing their job, but it never occurred to me that it will happen to me one day. And it happened to me when I am less prepared. I was not even prepared for that. And I didn't have a backup plan. So that day, it really struck me so hard that I was literally in a daze. And I didn't want to share the news with my team because it was nearing the Chinese New Year. It is the last news that I want to break to everybody. So so I went back. I was really in a daze, like I say. I was really heartbroken. I was in a panic mode because I don't know what to do, you know, what's going to happen to me? Well, but the good news is that, well, at least we have a few more months towards the end of the year before it happened. So it seems that, you know, things just happen one thing at a time. And that evening when I went back home, another thing happened that struck me again and made me think twice about my life. So what happened was that evening, one of my son, who was actually someone who is a little bit more playful. He is not so, I would say, diligent at the time in self motivating in his studies. So I was really stunned that evening when he asked me, "Hey, mommy, you know, do you have enough money for us when we are going to the university in few years' time?" So, of course, the natural reply I had for them was, I mean, for him was, "Of course, I'm all prepared. As long as you are willing to go and you want to study, you know, I am definitely here to support you." So, um, but at the back of my mind, I was like then went into the panic mode again because I didn't know how to deal with it because it's like, okay, news number one, I'm probably going to lose my job. News number two, my son is asking if I have enough money for his university fees. So the answer really is no, I wasn't prepared yet. I don't think, so then it really it struck me very, very hard because I do not want to be left in that situation where um, I'm not able to support my children for their further studies. Right. Of course, I still have to manage the part about I will be leaving the organization without a job. But you know, the part about the studies hit me really deep, right to the to the spot because when I was much younger, I came from a family where not really very well off. In fact, I have to stop studying. In fact, my parents wanted me to stop studying after my O levels to go out to work, but they think that over that time they think that a girl don't need to study so hard. But I beg to differ. I wanted to continue to study, so that's where I continued to study in the polytechnic. But unfortunately, due to my family circumstances and financial circumstances, I did not continue to study at university right after my graduation from the polytechnic. So instead, what I did was I go to work, I went to the workforce, I continue working and I save up the money. And after that, I continue to take a part-time degree course when I'm more ready financially. So I know how hard it is to go through having to work and studying part-time. And I know how disadvantage it can be sometimes, demoralizing it can be for a child that they have or they are unable to pursue a higher education due to financial constraint. So having gone through that path, I don't want my children to walk through the same path as me. So it really strike me that there's no longer job security anymore, and I need to do something, and I need to do something very quickly to make sure that within the next few months I change my situation. So that's where I decided that I need to find a right side hustle. And this side hustle must be something that is suitable for me to work on while I am actually concurrently working at my full time job. So I guess, sometimes when we have that strong desire to want to do something, things will fall in place for us. That was coincidentally where I also found out that one of my ex-colleague was doing this online business. So I actually reached out to her and I asked her about, hey, what are you doing? and she's amazing. She's just like an ordinary mother, ordinary person like you and me. But after like 1.5 year or two, less than 2 years, she actually managed to quit her job and to be able to stay at home to look after her two young kids, which is something that she has been working towards. So so to me it's like, hey, that's like quite interesting and amazing, isn't it? So to me it's like either during this time she has earned enough to be able to quit her job, or it's like this side hustle is able to sustain a certain lifestyle that she can continue to earn money and take care of her kids. But to me, whatever it is, it doesn't matter, it works for me. So this is actually the trigger point for me, because I knew that at that point of time, there's no longer this thing called job security anymore. You know, it doesn't exist anymore. It does not happen now. It doesn't mean that it will not happen in the near future, right? It is not happening to you now. Doesn't mean that it's not going to happen to you one day. We really didn't know. So that's where I asked my ex-colleague, tell me more. And that is where she directed me to take this one action. And this one action that transformed my life thereafter, and I've never looked back. So what is that? One action. She actually invited me to actually register for a complimentary free webinar. So, which is basically it gives us some insights and brief introduction about what this online business model is about. So I was really, really excited, because at that point of time, I knew online is the way to go. I knew people are making money online, but I just didn't know where to start. I mean, even though I have been in like sales and marketing for the longest time, I've been in the education industry for quite a long time, I never knew how to go about earning money online. But I do know that's the way to go. So that's what she told me. Register for onto her webpage and watch the webinar. And after that, if you're interested, everything else flows from there. So that's what I did. I registered with just my email and my name, and I watched the webinar, and the rest is history. You know, I was super blown away by the whole business model, and never once a day of regret. So, with that, I really also want to take this opportunity to invite you. That is really a reason why you are watching my live today, to hear my story. And this could be the same solution for you as it was for me about 1.5 years ago. So with that, I want to encourage you, register here now to my website, and all I need is your email address and your name. And you will be receiving an individualized email that will share with you the link, and also a replay link if you are not able to watch it live. And I hope you register and watch the replay link. Um, it is very unique because I and some other business partners are on this webinar panelists where we share our journey and our transformation. So, I really encourage you. There's really nothing to lose. You have everything to gain. Just spend 90 minutes of your time to watch this free webinar that could be something that is life changing for you. It has changed thousands of people of life globally, and mine included. And I really hope that if you are watching me, you have been looking for a change in your life, don't miss this opportunity. I have now presented this present, this gift to you. Open up and take a look. Well, if you like it, by all means, keep it. If you don't like it, you can just close it and put it aside. But at least open up and see what's inside. So I have shared here my webpage with you. Register immediately, take action, take this first step, take this leap of faith, and you are just one step, one decision away from having a better life. Yeah, with that, I really want to thank everyone for catching me live on my replay. Before I end off, I just want to share with you, you know, uh, this very important piece that my whole takeaway from today's sharing. The plan B, having a backup plan, is so important. Job security is no longer exist anymore. Having a backup plan, this plan B, is not becoming, it is a norm. It should be a norm for you. And we all know that going online is the way to go. We all spend a lot of time on social media. Don't spend your time on social media mindlessly. I used to be one of them. So leverage on the social media, leverage on technology. Learn how to earn online instead, like how I learned. I don't have any experience. I used to be a social media, I would say idiot. I'm not savvy at all. But as long as you're willing to learn, and you are willing to try, it's definitely something that's workable. As long as you don't give up, never stop trying, never stop believing in yourself. And if you do that, that day will come. Your day will definitely come. The change will come. The positive change will come. So never doubt yourself. You know, always have faith. So with that, once again, thanks for watching. Remember, register for the website. And I see that, most of you will agree with me. Yes, this is a life-changing opportunity. So why wait? All you need is to register with your name and your email address. With that, thank you so much. Have faith in yourself, believe in yourself, and I will see you tomorrow, same time at 6 p.m. So let's see what I have tomorrow. I'm going to share about my dreams, my aspiration, my future. What does it going to be like? Yeah, with that, bye everyone, and have a wonderful evening ahead, and a wonderful day ahead. Depending where you're watching from. Let me know where you're watching from. I'll be very excited to know. And thank you once again. Bye everyone.